If I could have your attention, please. I'd like to welcome you to our February the 22nd, 2024 council meeting. In the interest of time efficiency and ensuring that everyone who wishes to address the council is given the opportunity to do so, the following will apply to all comments made by the public. If you desire to be recognized by the chair, please fill out a request form and present it to the city clerk present here in council chambers. Each speaker shall be allotted 3 minutes to address the council, unless such time is extended by the mayor or by questions from council. Groups shall designate a spokesperson to avoid repetition of comments. Every effort will be made to avoid interrupting speakers. We thank you for participating in your city government, and we ask that you please silence all electronic devices. With that, I call this council meeting to order. And could we all please stand together for the invocation? I'd like to invite Pastor David Nye from Christ Our Savior Fellowship to come and lead us in our invocation. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to follow.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, we come before you this evening to ask your blessing upon this city council meeting. Your holy word tells us that there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. And so, Father, we ask that you would give your wisdom, your guidance, and your direction to these council members, whom you have appointed to their positions. May the decisions they make be fair, equitable, and pleasing to you. We thank you and ask your blessing upon our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Blackwell,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Matheny,
Here.
Councilmember Urban,
Here.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Here.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Here.
I'd like to ask our city manager Miller, are there any agenda updates?
No, sir, there are not.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, we have a proclamation in recognition of the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year and the St. Cloud branch. So we'd like to recognize those members that are here. Mr. Alex Lindsay, Asia, Adelaise, Emily, and Caitlin. Could you please come forward? Come on up. Come on down. You guys come right over here. Whereas, since 1947, Youth of the Year has been Boys and Girls Clubs of America's premier leadership program, celebrating the extraordinary achievements of club members. And whereas, each year, one team from a Boys and Girls Club rises to the role of National Youth of the Year, becoming an ambassador who elevates the voice of club youth everywhere and represents all of our nation's young people. And whereas, through the Youth of the Year program, young people showcase their talents and achievements, share their hopes and dreams, and work toward a bright and positive future. And whereas, Youth of the Year honorees from the Florida Southeast region are shining examples and living proof that great futures start at Boys and Girls Clubs. And whereas each of these youth, with the help of their club, has achieved great success in school, have superior leadership skills, and serve as ambassadors for their community. And whereas participation in the Boys and Girls Club National Youth of the Year program is the highest honor a club member can achieve. Now therefore, I, Nathan Blackwell, do hereby issue this proclamation recognizing these outstanding local young people in our community and saluting their success. St. Cloud is proud of our participants, Asia, Adalise, Emmy, and Caitlin. We congratulate you on your achievements, and we look forward to all the great ways you will contribute to our community. And we give an extra congratulations to Caitlin, who was selected our 2023 to 24 Youth of the Year from the St. Cloud branch. And we recognize Mr. Alex Lindsay, who's done an incredible job helping to lead that program here in St. Cloud. And congratulations to you guys.
I'm just going to be brief. It's not about me. It's about them. And when you look at them, remember, it's not about you. It's about the future. And behind me is the great future of some young ladies that represent the city of St. Cloud. And I'd just like to say I love you guys and continued success for them.
Tell you what, hold these up. Just hold them like that, and that'll be beautiful. All right?
Before I leave, I'm gonna jump
Congratulations. Let's give them one more round of applause. And thank you, Mr. Alex, for your incredible leadership. At this time, I have a proclamation and presentation to Leanne Tomeno in recognition of Flood Awareness Week. Whereas the city of St. Cloud has experienced severe weather in the past in the form of extreme rainfall or tropical system events resulting in flooding that has caused damage and flood losses to homes and buildings in all areas, whether they are high risk, special flood hazard areas, or low to moderate risk flood zones. And whereas the city of St. Cloud is a voluntary participant in the National Flood Insurance Program that provides residents with the opportunity to protect themselves against flood loss through the purchase of flood insurance at reduced insurance premium rates, as well as setting higher regulatory standards to reduce the flood risk and potential flood damage to their property. And whereas, through active participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, the City of St. Cloud saves flood insurance policyholders just over $78,000 per year. And whereas the reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood. And whereas residents may contact the city's floodplain manager at 407-957-7275 to find out what flood zone they are located in, if flood insurance is required, and how they can reduce their risk of damage from flooding. And whereas public education and awareness of potential weather hazard and methods of protection are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of residents, the Florida Floodplain Managers Association have declared the week of March 4 through 8, 2024 as Flood Awareness Week to promote awareness and increase knowledge of flood risk, the availability of flood insurance, flood protection methods, and how to prepare for emergencies. Now therefore, I, Nathan Blackwell, Mayor of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, in coordination with Osceola County, do hereby proclaim March 4 through 8, 2024 as Flood Awareness Week in the City of St. Cloud, and further encourage the citizens of St. Cloud to increase their knowledge of how to protect themselves and their property from flooding. And we certainly are indebted to our staff and our city floodplains manager. And thank you for your leadership and the difference that you make. And would you like to say something? That's it? You can say you got a presentation. And I think next we'll have a presentation in just a second when they turn the podium around.
Good evening. Leanne Tomeno, Floodplain Manager with the City of St. Cloud. And since we are approaching National Flood Awareness Week, March 4th through the 8th, I thought it would be appropriate to go ahead and give you a brief update on the city's floodplain management program. This image before you is the FEMA's flood insurance rate map within the city limits. The pink and the orange areas identified are the high-risk areas, zones A and AE. Approximately 4,800 acres, or 25% of the city's land area. Now, in addition to ensuring that development within the city is constructed according to the National Flood Insurance Program standards, the state building code standards, and our higher standards outlined in our local floodplain ordinance, we voluntarily participate in FEMA's Community Rating System, or the CRS program, since 1990. This program recognizes communities with floodplain management practices that exceed the minimum requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program. Of the 245 communities that participate in the CRS program within the state of Florida, only 25% hold a Class 5 rating or higher. The City of St. Cloud has a Class 5 CRS rating, which provides the city property owners and renters a whopping 25% discount on their flood insurance premiums, regardless of what flood zone they are in, high risk or low risk.
Excellent.
And I am ecstatic to announce that just last year, we were able to bring on board our first CRS coordinator. Michelle Acosta is a certified floodplain manager with the Association of State Floodplain Managers. Having her on board has allowed us to bring more outreach and education to our community, as well as improve our processes, reporting, and increase our level of customer service. One of our more recent efforts, you may have seen this before, is providing the public with an online mapping tool that provides flood zone and design elevation requirements for specific properties. They can, property owners can get copies of final surveys of their property. Elevation certificates are also available on this platform to anyone. All you do is search an address or a parcel number. Internally, we do continue to update this map regularly to include the most recent information for our community. There are a number of activities that we conduct for the National Flood Insurance Program and also for our community rating system that I don't have time to get into this evening, but I do appreciate the time to share our brief update with you and our audience this evening. Thank you so much.
And we certainly thank you once again for the difference that you've made in our whole city by all of your work. Thank you so much for your faithfulness.
Thank you.
Before we go to our Citizens Forum, I'd like to recognize some very special guests who are here tonight. Girl Scouts Troop 2204. And would you ladies mind please standing? We'd like to welcome you to our council meeting tonight. They have also brought some Girl Scout cookies as a thank you for allowing them to attend this meeting. And this was their last step in their inside government badge. Wow.
Thank you so much. I was a Girl Scout too, and these are my favorites.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm sorry you guys didn't get it either. If you guys are real nice, at the end of the meeting, I might give y'all one or two. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Very, very kind.
Is he buying something?
The next item on our agenda is our Citizens Forum. Any person who desires to comment on any item not on this agenda is provided this opportunity to address the City Council. Each person is requested to complete a signing form to be provided to the presiding officer prior to or as soon as is practical thereafter the person addresses the council. When you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, and we will ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Ms. Darlene Maresco, would you please step forward, share your name and address?
Good evening. I'm Darlene Maresco, 430 Oregon Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida. Since 1980, I've lived in that home. Moved to St. Cloud in 1971. Been here a long time. Monday, my husband and I came to the meeting regarding Fifth Street expansion, and our concerns are great. The gentleman who presented the plan said that it takes 9.5 minutes to drive from that end of town to I'm sorry, I'm not a great speaker here. 9.5 minutes, and to put in the Fifth Street, it would only take 5.5 minutes. So we're gaining 4 minutes to drive, and then they're going to put turnarounds and so forth. So basically, when you put it all together, you're not gaining a whole lot, in my personal opinion. It's a narrow street. It would have to be widened. There's so many driveways and elderly people that live on there, so where are they going to park their cars? And then, not to mention the fact when you go from Brown Chapel, thank you, Darlene, and you go all the way down to Mississippi, where are you going to dump it? To Mississippi, it doesn't go through to Narcoossee Road, unless you go to Eastern, which is a one-way street that you go all the way down, or go down Fifth over to Grape and then to Orange and whatever. I'm asking you to consider what you're truly doing, spending all of this money for possibly 4 minutes. How many lives would you interrupt and change in an area that when we purchased our homes, 1980, and I lived 2 houses from Fifth Street, what are you going to gain? When we purchased our home, we didn't expect to be at a thoroughfare, and it should not be, because who's coming into the grid area? The people who live in the grid area or visiting the grid area, they know how to get around there. So I know that there's Lakeshore, 10th Street, 13th Street, 17th Street, Nolte Road. All I'm asking you to do is really truly think about the taxpayer dollars that you're considering spending on something that really is only for possibly, but not really, 4 minutes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We'd like to ask our city manager to please speak to this issue at this point.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So based on the feedback that we received at the public meeting on Monday, staff discussed the concerns that we heard from the residents, and at this point, we are not recommending moving forward with that plan. Therefore, it won't be on a future agenda. We did put notification out yesterday on social media that we're not recommending the plan, and I'm not bringing it to the city council. And additionally, we sent out an email late this afternoon to the people who attended, who provided their emails, explaining that we're not going to proceed with that plan right now, except we are going to proceed with installing the components of the plan around Lakeshore Elementary that included flashing school zone lights and some other safety improvements right around the school. So those improvements we're going to move forward on, and instead staff is going to work on the things that we heard. There was a lot of maintenance concerns and other safety concerns regarding the entire grid. So we're going to look at that as a whole instead of the Fifth Street corridor.
Thank you. That's why they call it a study. Mr. Councilman Urban.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I fully support what the city manager just said in her statement there. I wanted to, I was going to address this at the end of my time, but since this came up, Residents' concerns are very important to all of us up here, and it's, I definitely am sorry at the way that the meeting on Monday went, but that's why we have these studies, and we want to hear resident input, and trust me, we heard everybody loud and clear, and that's why we're changing course on this. But to say that we as council members don't care about input, we absolutely do. And my number, I think all of our phone numbers are available on the city website. My phone is available 7 days a week. I want to hear from the residents, especially if you disagree with something we do. I want to hear from you. So we're available. We heard you, and we thank the residents for staying engaged and giving their input on this.
Comments were also made that, city council members didn't show up because there were none concerned. Mr. Menzeres, could you explain why city council members can't come to a meeting like that?
Well, for the way this meeting was set up as a community informational meeting that involved issues that would come in front of the city council at a future meeting for a vote. So under Florida Sunshine Law, you couldn't have attended that meeting unless it was set up as a meeting where the city council would participate. It wasn't set up like that. It wasn't noticed appropriately for that. Because again, it was a community information meeting. It wasn't intended for information for council.
And we love the Florida Sunshine Law. It just really,
Yes, we do.
really challenges us sometimes.
Especially when it's a little chillier.
Yes. Corey Rowe, do you wish to speak?
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record,
Yes,
please.
it's Corey Rowe. I live at 2012 10th Street. I was waiting for my timer. I've lived in this city since I was in diapers, and I've had this opportunity one other time to do this, and things have changed pretty significantly. There's new faces. Some of you have been around for a while. And a couple of things I know: perception is people's reality. And so when I came Monday and had the opportunity to get involved in that was a mess. I mean, for lack of a better term, it was a mess. I've spent 20 years of my career in management, managing hundreds of people, and I know that not a lot of people have bad intentions, including the people up here. But I know one thing, sitting in the seat that I've been in for a long time, and it's been this, one thing I've learned is that sometimes things fall on deaf ears. And I would say, looking at the turnout tonight, probably there's some citizens that have not done well, including myself, to show up and let you know, hey, these are the things that are going on. I live on 10th Street, right? So I have a vested interest in what? Traffic, right? So clearly when I hear about 5th Street, I'm like, let me show up, right? My concerns are many for traffic, and you have a lot of adversities with a growing city, a growing county. I believe it's the 5th or 6th fastest growing county in the nation. So because of that, you have an uphill battle. You have grid streets that have been there for as long as I can remember, and there's challenges. I would ask that we would look at how we appropriate funding. I looked at recent things that have come up in the council and taken time to look, and I see a lot of appropriated funding going towards the idea of doing research and studies, which makes sense. But also, where are we appropriating funding from traffic control, from the basics, right? Officers, things of that nature. So I would ask that we would look at that type of funding and start adding those type of things on a more consistent basis, because I believe citizens are concerned, especially on this side of our beautiful city. I do appreciate each and every one of you. This is a hard job. To stand in front of you and tell you that you're doing a bad job is not the right thing to do, okay? And I understand it, because I've been in a position where I've had a lot of people look at me. But I would ask that you would think about the decisions that you're making, not just from people that are putting things on Facebook here in town, but that also you would think about the people that live in those particular streets and what's going on. I appreciate it, and I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Fletcher.
I just wanted to echo the same comments as the city manager and council member Urban. Nothing is more important to me than the citizens' input. I grew up on the grid. I've lived here practically my entire life. I know some of you in the audience this evening. When I heard about the meeting, I was shocked. But I only received one phone call this week regarding Fifth Street. And I would say I carry my phone everywhere I go. You can text the number, you can call the number, you can get a hold of me, and we can sit down, we can go and have coffee and discuss those items. I heard, everything from we were going to take people's property and all of this stuff, and we're just going to put this huge highway through, when in reality, it's really not the case. We identified that there was pedestrian concerns, and we were looking at different options. We sent it out to have the study done, and they brought us back a menu of options for things that we could pick and choose from, theoretically. And a couple of the items we looked at, and we says, you know what? We've been working with folks over at Lakeview, and we need to go through, and the city manager did a great job of finding the funding so that we can get those flashing lights up there. And we're going to move forward. So I would encourage the public to continue to reach out to your council members. We really are here to listen. That's what you put us here to do, and I think this board and this council does a really good job of that. So please do reach out. We're here for you guys.
Thank you. You may have to forgive me if I pronounce this. You may have to pronounce Tugce. Could you forgive me, please? Come up, just share your name and address for the record.
Hi there, my name is Tucha Fajak, and I live on 501 Ohio.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you guys here tonight. I was wondering, what is a publicly noticed meeting? How is it publicly noticed? Can you answer that question?
Do you have any other questions? Finish up your
No,
your comments.
I'm asking a question.
Is that it?
No.
Are you finished?
No, I'm not finished.
Finish, please.
I would like to finish when I get my question.
We will as soon as you finish your comments. Go ahead. What else do you have to say?
I'm curious about how is a meeting publicly noticed. I would like to find that out.
Mr. Manzares.
Different meetings are published. If your question is related to the Sunshine Law, a Sunshine Law meeting requires reasonable notice as to a meeting. It's usually published meeting notice on the city's website or in the city's board where it publishes notices.
Okay.
That's to comply with the Sunshine Law. Other meetings, like land use meetings, zoning meetings, they require advertisements and publications. So depending on the meeting, there's different means to publish it.
So how is this against Sunshine Law if it was on your calendar, it was, I believe, on the news, right? It was on your Facebook page. I mean, you guys...
Finish. Go ahead and finish.
You guys are kind of ridiculous. And I had to call you to even get the citizens informed of this meeting. You said it was properly noticed by posting it on Facebook. That is ridiculous. We need to keep these people informed because you guys are absolutely doing a horrible job at keeping us safe. We shouldn't have to worry about cars doing circles in front of our houses. We live on that street, sir. And we don't want that. Why don't you look into the flooding issues on the state streets? Why don't you look into, 10th Street? You know, how many pedestrian crosswalks are there on 10th Street? How many lights are there on 10th Street? Think about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Urban?
I had a good conversation with our city attorney before the meeting about having a better, defining better what types of meetings that we have, whether it's a community input meeting, which is what Monday was intended to be, or whether it's a workshop where city council should be present. So hopefully we can work on a policy that better defines that for the public. And again, just wanted to reiterate the Fifth Street ideas. Now it's being tabled, and hopefully we can learn from this and move forward.
Ms. Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to tell you the many ways that we advertise this for the public. We use the city's variable message signs to put the meeting information on Lakeshore, on Fifth Street, and 192. We have 2 message boards, then we move them around to different locations. We posted it to the city's event and meeting calendar portion of our website. We mailed 1,000 postcards to people on Fifth Street and north 2 blocks, south 2 blocks within the project corridor. We sent a news release on February 2nd. We posted it to social media, the city sites, and St. Cloud Rants and Raves multiple times per week on various days of the week and times of day, starting February 2nd. We leveraged our contract with Positively Osceola to help us promote the meeting through their channels. We created a web page on the Public Works website containing information and a full copy of the study report. We posted the link to we posted the link to that created web page with the PDF of the study to social media. We spoke to the news media about the study and the workshop, and we spoke to many callers. So I just wanted to say we did a great job letting people know, and that's why there were so many people here.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak during the citizens forum? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And please fill out a form before you leave. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Kathleen Kurtz. I live at 702 Minnesota. So I wasn't one of the streets involved in the Fifth Street study, but I do ride bikes, scooters, and skateboards to kids with school down that street. So we were quite concerned about what we saw was asked to be looked at. One of the things I read, there was a newspaper article, and it said this was something that was brought up several years ago, not by the present council, to look at Fifth Street. Is that true? Were you the one that asked for the Fifth Street? Because I want you to own it, if that's what you did. Or was it somebody years ago and you just kind of picked it up? The other thing is, I guess I don't even understand why the study was done when you look at that's the middle of the heart of your city. The heart of your city. We're being torn apart by rentals now. Neighborhoods within the city of St. Cloud are becoming mostly rentals. Everywhere you go, you see a rental sign. So then you take and you want to look at sending people from Brown Chapel, Walmart, all the way through to Mississippi, and then like the lady said, where do they go from there? Down Mississippi's, both ways. I mean, that then affects them. So I really don't understand when you looked at what it was going to do, why you even spent the money. The other thing is, my husband and I do not believe in social media. We don't do rants and raves. We believe that my life isn't that interesting and I don't want to see everybody else's. So we have a real problem with St. Cloud knowing what is even going on, like the things that you have going on, because we don't see it anywhere because we don't do social media. We go past and there's a bunch of cars and we go, wonder what's going on tonight. So, I mean, it might be our age, you know, we just don't believe in that. So communication, the way we saw the sign down at Lakeview Elementary, and it was basically mostly word of mouth, how people even found out about it. I asked if I could take a petition around and was told absolutely not. But you let Spectrum come and knock on your door. You let, all these other places come and knock on your door. But when I called to ask whether we could take and start at Mississippi and work our way down, and for people who could not attend, I was told that's not permitted in the city of St. Cloud. So I have several problems, and that meeting was horrible, the way it was conducted. And I felt sorry for the gentleman. Once they said you couldn't speak, they were just underwater. So that's
All
it.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I assume this is during the citizen, Josh Furtick.
How you doing?
State your name and address, please.
Josh Furtick, inquiring about 1015 Tennessee Avenue. Good to see you, Mr. Blackwell. Been a long time.
Yes, good to see you, man.
Thank you for all you guys, for what you do up here. I know it's not an easy job, sit up here and basically be a sounding board, and we do the best we can, and obviously looking out for the community, and sometimes the decisions aren't always the best for everybody involved, but I just wanted to thank you. One of the things that, a little bit on the traffic side, is not so much the traffic flow, except on Tennessee Avenue, when they hit that corner over there. I own that child care center. They think it's Biffalo. They get on it, and I'm telling you, something bad's gonna happen. Eventually, I'm gonna propose to you guys about putting in speed bumps over there, because I'm doing a complete overhaul. But what I do love seeing is that sometimes I go to the gym late at night and I come back, and as a youngster, we didn't like to see the blue lights lit up, because we just got to start driving and we wanted to see how fast we could go. As you get older, you realize that's not always the case, and so it's nice coming back sometimes late at night and you see people pulled over. And I would just say, whatever appropriation of funds that we're looking at, we talk about celebrating the first responders, and being in the child care industry for the last, owner as a 10 years, almost 20 years, I say there's two professions that I feel like are underpaid. It's the first responders and teachers, right? We're all gonna get old at some point in time and need to be pushed around in a wheelchair, and my goodness, we need all those things. And at the end of the day, we need to celebrate the young ones so they become good men and women, and either can protect us or take care of us. And I think if it's not already a focal point, it's the first council member meeting I've been to in a while, because I just moved back recently from Atlanta. I would highly suggest, if it hasn't already been a topic, increasing first responders' pay, right? They put their lives on the line. I think that we attract better talent, just like in the school system. And if we could put more police officers on the road, I think people would be less inclined to make unfavorable decisions. I was not a big fan of Florida Avenue over there and putting that bike path in at first. It's turned out to look pretty beautiful, but I'll tell you, there's a ton of transient people that are just up and I'm out cleaning my car, and in the middle of the day, and I've got a lady with a grocery cart and a bag full of laundry asking me for money in the middle of the day, and she's camping out 2 houses down that had just sold. So I would be cognizant of that moving forward, and the city council just, I think putting more first responders on the road, increasing the pay, will help, eliminate a lot of the issues that we have with traffic. We got a lot of idiots out there driving. I can't think of a better term to describe some of them, because, my goodness, I almost opened my car door up because a seatbelt got caught and a motorcycle came through there, and I could knock him right off his bike right here in St. Cloud because he was impatient, So I don't know the science behind fixing everything, but what I do know is if you put enough police officers on the road, increasing the pay, you'll attract better talent, hold them better accountable, and I think it'll make for a safer town.
Thank you, Mr. Furtick.
Appreciate you.
Would anyone else like to speak during the citizens forum? You all right?
You didn't answer my first question when I was up there. Was this council responsible for putting the Fifth Street project?
It was directed in 2021 for us to look at additional east-west corridors and stop signs, because there was pedestrian concerns in that area. So I don't know that the direction was specifically look at Fifth Street, but it was to look in this area at the stop signs and for an additional east-west corridor in 2021. And no, not all of the council members were on the board then.
Thank you. If not, we'll move on to our next item. The next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. This contains items that have been determined to be routine and non-controversial. If anyone in the audience wishes to address a particular item on the consent agenda, now is the opportunity for you to do so. Additionally, if staff or members of the City Council wish to speak on a consent item, they have the same opportunity. Councilmember Matheny.
Could I pull item C for a separate vote?
our city manager.
Thank you. I would like to request that item B, that we change the date of the April meeting. Instead of April 11th, if we could please choose April 25th, because I know that we will have a full council on the 25th, and we would not on the 11th.
Okay, has everyone taken note of that, changing the April 11 meeting to April the 25th? So noted. At this time, would anyone in the audience like to speak to any item on the consent agenda? I don't see any. Yes, ma'am, please.
Hello, my name is Lisa Klepper, and I'm at 1752 Up the Road. I would like to talk about consent item C. I don't know if this is the time to talk about it or right before you vote on it, but.
Well, we'll jump right onto that now. Go right ahead.
Okay, thanks. The item C, what I'd like to have it is postponed. We have a meeting already set up for next Wednesday with some people from the city and with the developer and with us and the other neighbors that are in that area. So I kind of would like to have it just pushed back. Let's have the meeting. Let's see if we can't iron out some of the issues and then bring it back. And hopefully at that point, it'll just be an easy little consent item. So.
All right. Anything else? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Since we're on item C, Ms. Matheny,
Oh, I thought you hit your.
do you have
screen.
any
Turning it
other?
off. Oh. Yeah, I just want to have a separate vote for it.
Okay. Would anyone else like to speak to any other item on the consent agenda? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record, and please fill out a form before you leave.
I did fill out a form. I believe you have it. My name is Nicole Burchett. I'm at 805 New York Avenue. I believe it's either item 1 or 2. I could be mistaken, but I just wanted to comment on the rezoning of the space of the St. Cloud Community Garden.
We're not there yet.
We're not there. We're not there,
Okay.
ma'am. I'll call you up
Sure.
when we get to that. We're not at public hearings. Thank you very much. Thank you for your understanding. Yes?
I promise.
State your name and address, please, and what?
No problem. Corey Road, 2012 10th Street. I noticed B, setting for council meeting dates. I'm coming. So what, is there any changes as far as those dates regarding day of week or time at this point?
No, the time will be a normal meeting time.
Okay.
When council meetings normally meet, 6:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just confirming. Thank you.
right.
We can get you a copy if you provide your email address. We can send you a copy.
Okay. Councilman Urban, I see your light.
Yes, I just wanted to speak to item C. I also received an email from a concerned resident on, I know there's supposed to be meeting with the applicant to work out some of the issues they had, and I would be okay continuing it to the next meeting if possible. Do you need a motion for that? Or
You would need a motion.
You will need a motion for continuance.
motion to continue item C
Second.
Do you have a date?
to the next meeting, the March
March
14th
28th?
meeting.
March 28th.
28th
March
meeting.
28th.
March the 28th. We have a motion for continuance from item C to March the 28th. A motion from Councilmember Urban. We have a second from Councilmember Fletcher. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on continuance?
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
That brings us to the remaining items on our consent agenda. Do I have any other discussion from council and/or a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Councilmember
Second.
Matheny. Do I have a second? I have a second from Councilmember Gilbert for the approval of the remaining items on the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Brings us to public hearings. The next portion of this meeting is our public hearing items. And Madam Clerk, will you please read item number 1?
Final public hearing for ordinance number 2024-01, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation of approximately 2.36 acres identified as Downtown Site 1 from PUB Public Institutional and MDR Medium Density Residential Future Land Use Designation to COM Commercial Future Land Use Designation generally located north of 10th Street, east of Massachusetts Avenue, and south of 8th Street, providing for amending the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing of the Planning Commission, recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effects, suburbility, and copies on file and effective date.
Thank you. Melissa Dunklin, Community Development Director. This item is the final public hearing for the request for the amendment of the future land use and zoning for the parcels known as Downtown Site Number 1. The existing future land use is medium-density residential and public institutional. The proposed future land use is commercial. The existing zoning is R3 multifamily, and the proposed zoning is CBD 1, Central Business District 1. The development is compatible with the surrounding area and will have no adverse impacts on city facilities. The graphics before you depict the existing and proposed future land use map changes. And these graphics depict the existing and proposed zoning map changes. The Development Review Committee and the Planning Commission recommended approval. Likewise, it is requested that City Council approve ordinance number 2024-01 for the comp plan amendment and ordinance number 2024-02 for the zoning map amendment. Staff is available if you have any questions, as this is a city-initiated project.
All right, since you're making a recommendation on item number 2, also, Madam Clerk, would you please read item number 2 into the record?
Final public hearing for ordinance number 2024-02, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing for the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation of approximately 1.56 acres identified as Downtown Site 1 from R-3 Multifamily Dwelling Residential Zoning District to CBD-1 Central Business District 1 zoning designation, generally located west of New York Avenue, east of Massachusetts Avenue, and south of 8th Street, providing for the entering the designation of the official zoning map, filing of the Planning Commission, recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effect, suburbility, copies on files, and effective date.
Thank you. We will have public comment at this point. Nicole Burchett, is that correct? If you'll please just state your name and address for the record.
Nicole Burchett, 805 New York Avenue. I'm back at the right time. Thank you. So I just wanted to come here and discuss the importance of this space for the community. A lot of my neighbors and I have chosen our home specifically because of its location, the community garden. We used to live on 7th and Pennsylvania and decided to move to 8th in New York because it's such a beautiful community space. I see people all day enjoying the space, walking around, sitting down to grab some lunch, fresh air. We have 7 homeschool families right now that have separate plots, and we're doing an organic gardening class. I think this space has so much potential to bring the community together and have more events, and especially a community that's so rich in agriculture, and we have so many resources and so much knowledge. I know that at some points maybe the garden may have been neglected, and it's definitely, I think, both on the city and the community to work together to improve that space. So my hope is just that there would be a plan to certainly keep that space, and I would think that not zoning it commercial use would be the logical step in that direction. But I haven't heard, I guess this is just the zoning portion, and I'm not sure what any plans are or if there are any plans. I just got that notice in front of our home. We use the space a lot, or the community uses the space a lot. I think it could be used more, absolutely, and we're working towards that. We even have a young, I think, 8-year-old who has a YouTube channel, and all his gardening is done in that garden as well. So it's just a space that I think that we should work very hard to protect. So that is why I'm here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Melissa, do you want to speak to any of that?
If you have the information from Parks and Rec on that, that'd be great, that we had discussed last meeting, for the last meeting. No. If you have anything else to address, please.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared to speak about the rentals for the plots. However, this is only the land use and zoning change. We don't have any active applications to do anything more than just change the colors on the map and allow for the highest and best uses for those parcels.
Yes. Kirsten Storm, is that correct? Please state your name and address.
Kirsten Sturm, 337 Florida Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida. Hello. First off, you weren't prepared to discuss the rental of the plots, but, just change the land use. Clearly, it's because you want to pave it over and put in a parking lot. Okay, anyway. I'm here for the second time. I came to the initial meeting, planning meeting about this. I promised my daughter I'd come and speak again, because this matters to her. When I got a garden plot for my family in 2023, I was told that the garden was going to be improved with picnic tables and more plots built. That hasn't happened. Instead, in the summer of 2023, the property wasn't maintained. The grass was allowed to grow taller than my toddler. There were rusty nails sticking out of the raised beds. These conditions made it unsafe to take my kids to the garden. I've spoken to other people that rented plots at the garden, and several said that the reason they weren't renewing their plots was because the space wasn't being maintained. There's a lot of potential for a downtown community garden to benefit our town and our families. Learning opportunities for kids, raised beds that even the elderly or disabled can access. And the former Parks and Recreations manager, Gabriel, told me that they were even growing food and donating it to a local food pantry. The property also has several beautiful mature mango and loquat trees, which would take years to grow again from seeds. I understand that the city needs parking, but I don't think neglecting and paving over our green spaces is the way to do it. When making plans for our town, please consider the importance of these green spaces, and don't pave Paradise and put up a parking lot. And I understand it's just changing the zoning, but even people who don't care about a little kid's community garden should be here, and they should be speaking out about what's going to happen to our downtown, if maybe the highest bidder, when that gets changed to commercial, is a pawn shop. Maybe it's a vape shop. God knows what else. And I feel like a community garden is a safe bet for this is something that shows we care about our community and our families. I don't know what kind of commercial thing you're going to put over there that's going to show that.
Thank you, Ms. Sturm. Our city manager.
Thank you. Yes,
Miller?
I did find some of the information that I was asking about. So just to provide you with some of the rental information for that garden, between May 2023 to January 2024, we had 1 garden plot rented. January to present, we do have 8. Revenue, $175 since October 2023, but we spend $200 a month maintaining that property. We need to make about $500 worth of improvements to it, and we don't have revenue in order to do that. So at this point, we're not planning on making improvements, but we're not planning on stopping the use of the garden. Although, as the city has been looking at how to improve the city master plan in the CRA and trying to bring additional use to this property, mixed use to the city property, that is one of the parcels that we've been anticipating incorporating
All
into
right.
it.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else in the audience want to speak to items 1 or 2? If not, we'll have discussion and or motion by council. Councilmember Matheny.
Thank you. Melissa, could you put the map up that shows the 2.36 acres? So what I was asking the city manager was, is there a possibility to leave out this 0.172 acres, which is what the little garden plot is, out of this change to the future land use designation? I mean, personally, I don't think I know there's some conversation about expanding the stormwater pond into this tract for the downtown changes that potentially are coming, but I don't think .172 is going to make a difference in the in the pond, you know. And I would support removing this parcel 1 and 2 from this motion, just to see kind of what the rest of the council feel like with that. And I understand changing the other thing I was asking her is, if we change the future land use, does that prohibit this use, you know? Because it's saying we're just changing it, but don't want to change it to something that prohibits the use, you know, like, oh, a garden isn't allowed. But I would be okay with removing this .172 acres from this, this council action.
Thank you. Councilmember Fletcher?
I was just going to say the same thing. I actually follow the YouTube channel. I don't remember who said that, you know, with the child that uses the garden. I would be in favor of what you were recommending. My questions were going to be whether we change it or not. We still have to maintain it, and I believe, you know, we could find, you know, some money to maintain a city piece of property. We'd have to maintain it anyways, and then the community's effort and the public garden, it's always, you know, more on the community and a public garden, right? They have the plot, and they're going to care for their plot, and then the overall maintenance of it is more of the city's responsibility. I love open space. You know, Florida Avenue is beautiful, lakefront, and all that stuff. And by us changing the zoning and the land use, I don't think it's something that's, you know, you said, you know, build over paradise per se. That's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. If that did happen, it'd be years and years and years from now. So with that, I would agree with you on that.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Thank you. Yeah, we all enjoy green space. How many plots are open that are available for rent? And you mentioned that there's one that's rented, and the cost to produce this is exceeding the rental. How do we get more citizens involved to do this and make it, you know, a great place to go, which I've seen it, I've passed by it when I ride my bike and I drive up here. But I understand you got one plot rented out of how many available, and the cost to maintain it is X amount of dollars. So I look at every citizen's rights and every citizen's needs that they have. Is this a lost leader? Is this something we do because one family rents it? And I understand it's a great thing, but how do we make it work economically for all the citizens of St. Cloud? I yield back.
Mr. Manzares?
I just had a question, maybe Melissa. So the two lots we're talking about, are those the ones that have the public institutional future land use and CBD1 zoning?
It's the parcel right behind City Council, or I'm sorry, City Hall, right?
It's not right behind it.
Is it this parcel?
There's a pond parcel, and then it's that one.
That one.
It's the one right next to 8th Street.
So what is your question? I'm sorry.
So I know that two of the parcels that are involved in this, of all the acres, are currently zoned with future land use of public institutional and CBD1. Is that correct?
So we're talking about the garden, and it's currently medium-density residential.
I just want to make sure, because if they were already zoned the public institutional and the CBD1, it wouldn't matter what you did with regard to those parcels, because they'd already would be available for the city basically to use for just about any purpose the city wanted to use it for.
So you're saying changing the zoning is not going to change what we want to do with the property?
Well, it would if they are medium-density residential future land use and the R1 residential zoning, or R3, I'm sorry.
So I'm still not clear. So it is, or it
I
is, or isn't?
I don't know.
They
That's
appear
the question.
yeah,
That's my question.
They appear to be medium-density
Okay,
residential.
all right.
Right.
I just
and
don't
some-
want to get everybody confused and then have it come back a
Right.
couple of years from now and someone say, well, wait, you changed the zoning. No, we didn't. It was always, yeah. Okay.
Right, and something else we've been discussing with staff, if I may, when we've had input from the citizens is, as we move forward, we can always request a rooftop garden with whatever we do. So there are options available if we want to explore other options instead of carving out parcels that could prohibit a nice product in the future.
Councilmember Urban.
I love these ideas. I definitely want to preserve the garden. I know my 2-year-old daughter has just gotten into planting flowers in our backyard, and I'm sure her and I would love to come out and help stay involved with it. So anything we could do to preserve that garden, regardless of how our downtown evolves, I think we need to continue to have green space and space that keeps the community and our kids engaged. So I'd agree with all the comments tonight.
Councilmember Fletcher.
I just want to apologize, Mayor, for turning my light on and off. I know it's driving you crazy. I think this is great, and then I don't know if Parks and Rec can put a flyer together to see if we can rent it. That was a great idea, to see if we can rent it more. And then the feedback, the citizen engagement, which you heard, or community engagement, which you guys heard earlier in the comments. This is great. This is great. So when we look, at the plans for the development, now we know, hey, this is something that's very important to the community. So we need to take it into consideration in some shape or form, so that we can keep a community garden on the grid, or some type of pocket park where folks can come and play. So I think it's great. So thank you.
Do we have any other discussion from council? My question is, if we approve the recommendation from staff, does that mean that cannot continue to be used as a garden? Is that what we're saying?
Well, again, the city owns all this property.
Right.
So whatever happens with this property, either now or in the future, is going to be determined by whatever council is sitting here at the time that the proposal is done. And so if you were to approve this, the garden can remain until such time as, if you approve it as recommended, the garden can remain until such time as the council, this council, or future council decides what they're going to do with the entire acreage of the property. I would also point out, it's fair to say that a future council could simply come back in and say, we want these parcels to be part of this project because this is what we want to do, and go through this exercise again at that point to do it. So it's not a guarantee that the garden...
Either way.
Exactly.
Well, I just think it's wise to go ahead with the recommendation from our staff. And, we've heard from the community, if we want to continue using it as a garden, you continue using that. And that's not going to change the ability to do that.
And like you said, Mayor, so if the council direction is to continue, we're doing a rate study right now, so we can continue ensuring that we come up with a rate that will cover our costs for us to continue to maintain a garden and continue that use regardless of what the land use and zoning is.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Yeah, I am sorry to interrupt, Mayor and Council, but is there a stipulation we can put in this agreement that allows it to go forward, noting that we will make sure that a community garden is encompassed in all future developments past our council pass? I don't have that answer.
You can't do that. You can't
Okay.
basically bind a future council with regard to something like that.
Thank you. It's just trying to look at the push-pull on it. Thank you, sir.
Well, we can certainly approve this, and the gardens are going to continue to function. I don't understand why we would not support the recommendation from the council at this point. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 2024-01. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Gilbert. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
No.
Councilmember Urban?
No.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
No.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion denied.
Motion failed.
Motion fails 3-2.
Thank you.
Council, do you have a motion?
So I'll make a motion to approve eliminating the 0.172 acre parcel that's known as the community garden that's south of 8th Street.
Second.
Make sure I understand that. What's the motion again, that you eliminate?
I'm eliminating the community garden parcel. I was just giving that for direct, but it's 0.172 acres. It's at the corner of New York and 8th. It's parcel number 1.
It's the northeast
Yeah.
parcel.
Yeah.
So is that,
So basically, you're approving staff's recommendation with, but removing those parcels from it.
okay.
It's just
One
one.
parcel.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Councilmember Matheny and a second from Councilmember Urban. And what are we voting on? Which one of these?
You're voting on the ordinance as was presented to you, however.
Amended.
Amended to basically remove that one
And
parcel.
so that will not apply to both of these items, 1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay.
So you do need to take 2 votes on it, though, please.
All right. Item number 2024-1 with the 1.72 acres amended.
0.172.
0.172, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Can you give us a motion on the second one?
Sure. I'll give a motion on 2024-02, removing the .172 acre parcel at the corner of New York and 8th Street.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Matheny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Brings us to item number 3. Madam Clerk, please read that into the record.
Final public hearing for ordinance number 2024-14, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, closing, vacating, and abandoning the platted right-of-way located on Florida Drain Land Company Subdivision Number 1 as recorded in Plat Book B, pages 65 and 66 of the Public Records of Osceola County, Florida, specifically described in the body of this ordinance, providing for suburbility, conflicts, and an effective date.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Melissa Dunklin, Community Development Director. This is the final public hearing for the requested vacation of right-of-way adjacent to Macy Island Road and the K-8 school site in the development known as Tahokwa. The rights-of-way run through the proposed K-8 school site, and they are not required for the construction of the school site. Here's a graphic representation for context depicting the 2 rights-of-way. The graphic on the left is a snip from the approved concept plan. The K-8 school site is circled there in red and is the red blob that you see to the bottom left-hand corner. And the graphic on the right shows the locations of the 2 areas where the rights-of-way will be vacated. The request was routed for review and no objections were received. Therefore, staff is recommending approval and requests that council approve ordinance number 2024-14, and we are available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak to item number 3, 2024-14? If not, we'll have discussion and a motion by council.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Councilmember Matheny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Gilbert. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Brings us to council action items. And Madam Clerk, please read item number 1.
Discussion and possible action regarding appointments to boards and committees with vacancies for the Community Redevelopment Agency, Historic Preservation Board, Planning Commission, Recreation Advisory Committee, Teen Recreation Advisory Committee, Tree Advisory, and Zoning Board of Adjustments.
Madam Clerk?
Thank you. If we could please make all of the nominations and then one motion at the end for all the nominations, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. And we have also, when we get to it, I have an amendment for the Teen Advisory Committee.
All right.
Is there a slide for this? There you go. Thank you.
Is there a slide for this?
Yes. She just put it up.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the first recommendation is for the CRA agency.
Yes. And that's an at-large appointment for seat 7.
Motion to reappoint Adam Wagner?
Second.
Do we have any other I'd like to recommend for seat number 1, Miriam Trace.
On which one?
For seat number 1.
She's not on, she hasn't requested for this board.
Do what now?
She has not requested for this board.
Okay, I thought that was one she had requested too. Okay, Richard Estelle. I'll recommend him then, because he is on the list, right?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I think
There's
there was
only
only
one
one
spot.
opening on
Doesn't need a second.
Yeah, on the CRA, there's only one open spot, and the only application is reappointment of Mr. Wagner.
Yeah. This is seat number 1.
And Mr. Still.
Still,
Like it's vacant.
yeah. And then you already have a motion to fill seat 7.
All right. And so you want to do them all at the same time?
You want
Well,
to
for
do
each
board by
board.
board?
By
Yes,
board.
if you just, we
Board
have
by
a motion.
board?
So we can have a vote on the CRA board, we can move on to the next
All right.
committee.
Could I have a motion for the approval of the recommendations for the CRA board?
You already have it. We have a motion.
Who made the
Deputy
motion?
Mayor made the motion.
I made the motion.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Gilbert seconded it.
Mr. Gilbert has second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right.
The next board is Historic Preservation Board, and it is an alternate 2, and it's an at-large appointment.
And that is currently a vacant position.
Do we have any recommendation for alternate seat number 2? We have one applicant.
Can I ask a question to the council? A lot of times when we put people in that it's their second, third choices, they don't stay. Since it's an alternate 2, I would recommend we leave it vacant.
I agree.
Just because invariably we're gonna get a letter next week. No, thanks.
Are there any other objections then? It requires no action then.
Okay.
Brings
then-
us to the Planning Commission.
Yes, and these are all at-large appointments, and we have available 1, 2, 3, alternate 1, and alternate 2.
My motion for Philip Landry for seat 1 to be reappointed.
Second.
Okay.
Isn't that the mayor's?
Oops,
No,
sorry.
these are all at-large.
They're all
They're all at large.
But if
These
we
are
can make
at-large.
all the recommendations and then one motion.
I was reading that at-large thing.
I would personally like to move up the alternates.
Yeah.
So Philip Lantry, seat 1, and then move Nanette and Russell up to 2 and 3. Just, I always like to move the alternates up. And they're requesting reappointment.
The only 2 left on this board is Don Grigsby and Carmelo Oquendo. All the highlighted ones are for reappointment.
Yeah, but they're requesting reappointment.
The alternates moving to the permanent voting
Moving the
seats, number 2
alternates
and
up to
3.
2 and 3.
Okay.
So is that your motion?
Yeah.
All right, so you state again what you're recommending?
So Philip Lantry for 1, and then move up alternate 1 and 2 into seat 2 and 3.
2 and 3?
So Nanette Douglas would be moved to seat 2, and Russell Alexander would be moved to seat 3.
Correct.
A motion for approval.
Second.
Okay.
We still need alternates, right?
We have another, we
Yeah,
need to
so
fill
now-
in the
so you got-
alternates, do we not?
We have to fill, okay.
Before we do that, please.
We're doing fine. So now you have 2 alternate positions available.
Yes.
I'd like to recommend Dawn Streeter for one of the alternate number 1.
And I'd recommend Daisy Snyder.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
Perfect.
all right.
Thank you, Councilman.
So we add those 2 to the motion to move those 2 up to alternates
Okay.
1 and 2, respectively.
Do I have a motion that we accept these nominations?
So moved.
I'll make the second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Our Recreation Advisory Committee. We have, could you explain that?
These are 2 alternate positions, and they're both at large. Alternates 1 and 2.
Okay.
And alternate number 1 has requested reappointment, Christina Jones.
Yeah, I'll make a recommendation for Christina Jones to remain alt 1.
And then alternate number 2? Any recommendations? Diana?
I'll make a recommendation for Diana Lamar. It's her first choice, and she's a city resident.
Diana Lamar for alternate number 2.
Alt 2.
I'll second that.
All right. So we'll entertain that as a motion from Councilmember Athenia, second from Councilmember Gilbert. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. On the Teen Recreation Advisory Committee, we have, seat number 5 is an appointment by Councilmember Fletcher, alternate 1 or 2 and vacant. And in the applicants, the teen, Elias Taylor, did not finish the paperwork appropriately, so they cannot be considered for an appointment. So we have 2 available teens.
I'll make a motion for, or appoint Autumn for seat 5. And just a side comment, it was really fun reading the essay submitted by the teens for this board, so that was kind of exciting.
It was awesome, Councilman. I'll go with Sienna also. I think this is a great, great thing that these teens are doing, so I agree with you.
Okay. And so alternate number 1, did I miss that?
Sienna.
Sienna?
Yeah.
So we have Sienna for alternate number 1 and alternate number 2 is vacant.
Right.
We have a motion from Mr. Fletcher,
Yes, sir.
second from Mr. Gilbert. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. And then on the Tree Advisory Committee, the next meeting, we have 2 at-large appointments. And Cheyenne Refugio has requested a reappointment for alternate.
Okay. Then I'd recommend her for alternate seat number 2.
Can she be 1? Because
Yeah, she can be
1
Move her up
moves
to
up.
1, alternate number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Terry Kincaid for alt 2.
Terry Kincaid
Yes.
for alternate seat number 2. I'll make that a motion that do we have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember, Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. And then the last board that we have is the zoning board of adjustments. Seats
There we
1,
go.
2, 3 are available for reappointment at large, alternate 1 or 2. And you have 3 that are requesting reappointment at the bottom. Courtney Gorno, Gary Jandro, and Julius Nargolis.
Can we suggest Courtney to move up to seat 1 as the alternate?
Come again, what'd you just say?
Move Courtney from alternate 2 to alternate seat 1. She's requested reappointment.
So you want to move her to alternate number 1?
From 2, yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I would just, so it looks like for C2, Matthew Boggs, whose term expired, is not seeking reappointment. Am I right about that?
Seat number 2?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I'd like to recommend for seat 2, Miriam Trace.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay.
And
so-
seat 3, Gary Jahandro.
And for seat 1?
Julian, oh, they're not asking. Oh, yeah, Julian Calogris.
Calagrides.
Hmm?
Calagrides.
Oh, that sounds way cooler than me.
All right, so let's walk down. Seat 1, Julian.
Seat 2,
Seat 2,
Miriam
Trace.
Trace.
Seat
Seat 3,
3.
Gary. Alt 1, Courtney Gurno.
Okay.
And I don't know for
Alternate
Alt
2.
2. Vacant.
Just leave it vacant.
I would agree.
Has Christina
I agree to leave it vacant, I think.
just leave it vacant?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's the third
They're
choice.
like
and
third
she's already on the
choices,
other.
yeah.
All right, make a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilmember Athena, a second from Councilmember Fletcher. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right. Madam Clerk, your light is on, have I? Okay. The next items on the agenda under council action are ordinances before the council for first reading and introduction for the sole purpose of the council to authorize the publication of the ordinance for a final hearing. The council will not take final action on the item tonight. Full presentations and public input on the ordinances will occur at the final hearing, at which the council will consider final action and receive public input at that time. Madam Clerk, will you please read item number 1?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-25, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending St. Cloud City Code Chapter 2, Administration, Article 6, Code Enforcement, Division 1, generally, and add Section 2-262, Civic Penalty, and providing penalties for code violations shall not exceed $1,000 per day per violation for a first violation, $5,000 per day per violation for a repeat violation, and $15,000 for a violation that is irreparable and irreversible in nature, providing for suburbility, conflict, codification, administrative correction, publication, and an effective date.
Thank you. Would anyone of the council like to make a motion for the adoption, approval of this first reading?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Councilmember Urban. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Fletcher. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Please read item number 3 into the record.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-04, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately 91.815 acres identified as Amelia Grove, located east and south of Nova Road, west of Pine Grove Road, and north of Lake Lissy Drive, in accordance with the voluntary annexation provision of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes.
Do I have a motion that we adopt this into the record for first reading?
Motion to approve.
A motion from Councilmember Urban, second from the mayor. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Could you read item number 4 into the record?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-07, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately 72.29 acres identified as Trinity Place, located east and south of Nova Road, west of Pine Grove Road, and north of Lake Lissy Drive, in accordance with the voluntary annexation provision of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes.
Do I have a motion for the adoption of this first reading?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Gilbert, second from the mayor. Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Matheny?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Could you please read item number 5 into the record?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-11, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, for the amendment of Chapter 1, General Provisions, Administration and Boards and Commissions by adding a new fee to Article 1.2.8.c, Title 31, HCMP, and Chapter 3, Performance and Sitting Standards by adding a new section to Article 10, Mixed Use District, 3.10.4, Habitat Conservation and Management Plan to the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud to establish Habitat Conservation and Management Plan, HCMP, requirements for mixed-use district.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for the adoption of this first reading?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Urban. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Matheny. Do I have, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny.
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Could you read items 6, 7, and 8 into the record?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-16, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately 1.6 acres identified as Alpha Neptune and Sunnyside Avenue, located north of Sunnyside Avenue, south of Neptune Road, and west of Breezewood Street, in accordance with the voluntary annexation provision of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes. First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-17, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation of mixed use to approximately 1.6 acres identified as Alpha Neptune and Sunnyside, located north of Sunnyside Avenue, south of Neptune Road, and west of Breezewood Street, providing for amending the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing of the Planning Commission, recommendation and proof of publication, applicability and effect, suburbility, copies on files, and effective date. First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-18, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing for the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation of approximately 1.6 acres identified as Alpha Neptune and Sunnyside from mixed-use zoning designation county to a mixed-use zoning designation city with a mixed-use future land use designation adopted by ordinance number 2024-17, generally located north of Sunnyside Avenue, south of Neptune Road, and west of Breezewood Street, providing for entering the designation of the official zoning map, filing of the Planning Commission, recommendation and proof of publication, suburbility, and effective date.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the adoption of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-16?
So moved.
A motion from Councilmember Matheny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Could I have a motion for the adoption of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-14, or 17? Mayor makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Urban. Do I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Could I entertain a motion for the adoption of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-18?
Motion approved.
A motion from Councilmember Gilbert. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Matheny. Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Matheny.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Please read item number 9 into the record.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-22, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Development Process, Procedures and Permits, Article 2, Site Development Plans, adding sections 2.3.10, Live Local Act Project Reviews Procedures, sections 2.1.10A, Expedited Review Process, and section 2.3.10B, Live Local Act Monitoring Program, Chapter 3, Performance and Sitting Standards, Article 6, Commercial Zoning Districts, sections 3.6.1P, Professional District, section 3.6 3.3 HB Highway Business District, 3.6.5 CDB Central Business District 1 and 2, Chapter 4, Site Design and Development Standards, Article 2, Off-Street Parking, Bicycle Parking and Loading Requirements, amending Table 4.2.1 and adding Section 4.2.6, Reduced Parking Requirements for Live Local Act projects, Article 8, Landscaping and Tree Protection, amending Table 4.8.4A, Projects Boundary Buffer Yard Standards, Article 15, Supplemental Regulations, adding Section 3.15.12, Live Local Act projects, Chapter 8, Terms, Definitions, and Word Usage, Article 2, Terms and Definitions of the Land Development Code, providing for suburbility, conflicts, and effective date.
Do I have a motion for the adoption of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-22?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilmember Atheny, a second from the mayor. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny.
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And brings us to our final item, number 10.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2024-23, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, prescribing the manner of holding the regular election to be held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November each election year, to wit, November 5th, 2024, with a primary election on August 20th, 2024, if required pursuant to Chapter 20, Article 1, Section 20 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Cloud, providing for an effective date.
I make a motion for the adoption of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-24. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Matheny.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Blackwell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Brings us to our city attorney, Mr. Manzares.
Just one reminder item, as we've turned into a new year, you have your annual 4 hours of ethics that you're required to do. We did it live last year, and so we updated it for you. So we're happy to do it either way you want to do it. You can either listen to the audio and the video and tape at your own speed, or we can do it live for you, whichever you want to do. And if, of course, if you listen to it and you need to have any other further tutoring sessions, I'm happy to help. But, so it's your call.
I just thought you did a great job, and you answered all our questions, and you did phenomenally, so.
Well, thanks.
I don't know, the question and answer sessions got answered then. If I was to review it online, then I'd write down my questions and do it. So I'm good either way, but I appreciate the first year that you were able to answer the questions that we have for all the Sunshine State laws and things like that, and I appreciate that.
So does that mean you'd rather do it online?
Audio.
Audio, video?
Yeah, I'm good with going to Dan
Okay.
Manzares University online.
The Florida League of Cities also puts out several classes throughout the years that they email also, so.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to attend one of those,
All right.
we can also
Seems
help
like
set
the
that up.
majority wants to do the online deal, okay?
That's all right. We're good with that, though.
All right.
Thanks. That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Manzares. Ms. Miller?
Thank you. I am passing out a packet right now. It's that time of year where we have to decide on a short list of items that we would like to hopefully apply for federal funds. And
This is all federal?
yes, this would be the federal list. So looking for consensus. As you know, what we do is we meet with our federal lobbyists, we meet with our congressman, and we show him the list of projects or his staff, and they guide us on what they think we should submit the paperwork on that he would be willing to support in the end. So this is the short list of projects that we think maybe he would be willing to support, and I just need consensus also with several council members going to Washington, D.C. This is an opportunity that then, you can freely discuss that we've had consensus on this.
Councilmember Atheny, your light is on.
Yes, I have something. So the timing was good. I've been talking with the city manager about, just brainstorming ways to find money to buy land for parks, right? Because I'm bummed we're not able to afford everything we want, right? And we have to make hard choices all the time. And so I asked her, I said, is it possible to ask in our federal list for money to purchase land for parks and not specify a piece of property, right? Because that piece of property, by the time this comes out, could be gone, but just say, you know, hey, could we get $5 million to go towards acquiring parklands? She did reach out to Congressman Soto's office. They did say that this would be a qualifying project. So I'd like to add or give the city manager direction to work out the details and that, you know, I was thinking like put $5-6 million in there because that's how much stuff costs these days and use it to acquire parklands. I think we can make a good argument, you know, we're one of the fastest growing cities and one of the fastest growing counties and so we need some help securing land before it's all gone. So I just wanted to see if, you know, at least 2 other people supported that idea.
Thumbs up. That's certainly a good idea. I don't think there's any objections to that.
Great.
Is there?
Do you have enough?
No, everybody gave me a thumbs up. I just wanted to clarify, it was our federal lobbyist through Gray Robinson.
Oh, it said Congressman Soto on the email. Anyway.
I might
Someone
have copied a previous email and deleted everything and gone from there.
It is an appropriate
Yes.
request.
Yes.
So.
But I assume that would be a federal request, would it not?
Yeah.
Correct,
I don't think
if
they'll
he's
make it-
willing to work with us on
Right,
that.
okay.
Mhm.
Do we have any other discussion at this point regarding her recommendations on the legislative ask list? I certainly think it looks like all the things we've been discussing, and I'm certainly supportive of this.
Okay.
Looks like a well-thought-out list. Anyone else?
Good job.
Any objections?
Okay, thank you.
Let's go.
We will give everyone copies of this.
Do you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Thiene,
I don't have anything else.
Councilmember Urban.
Just wanted to thank all the residents who showed up tonight to speak. It's not easy. We really appreciate the public input. And like I said at the beginning of the meeting, my direct phone number is available on our website. I would love to get together for a cup of coffee, talk about any issues you're having with our city. Love hearing directly from the residents and look forward to hearing from everyone. But thank you.
Councilmember Fletcher.
I have nothing this evening, Mayor.
Councilmember Gilbert.
Well, you know I got something. Democracy at Work was a perfect, it happened perfectly during the Fifth Street study. Although we were not invited, we listened to the citizens and made a move per the citizens' request. We work for the citizens of St. Cloud. We answer to the citizens of St. Cloud. When they get involved in projects, that makes my decision, I can't speak for everybody on council, so much easier to make when they're concerned and they show up and show out of what they're really concerned about. As we grow, and you're right, I think we're the 3rd largest city in Florida and the 6th largest county in the United States in growth. And anybody knows growth has pains. But to see our citizens come together and meet like that, although the meeting probably could have been structured better, I'm so excited to serve in this seat right now to know we have citizens that are concerned and show us their concerns as Kobe says, that call us, email us. We're here. We serve you. We are elected by you. We're here for you. And that was a perfect example of democracy at work. The study happened, it wasn't accepted, and we moved on. So your participation as city, as the people I work for, is so much appreciated, and I thank the Fifth Street, I thank everybody here tonight, and I just thank our citizens of St. Cloud for just coming up, showing up, and talking to us, because we're humans just like you all, and the more input we have, the better decisions we can make with knowledge. So I'd just like to thank you, City Manager, for understanding that and taking the right direction, and I'd like to thank the City Council for understanding that we work for those citizens. Nothing more, Mayor.
Thank you. And I would say ditto to that. I don't have anything else. It brings us to our information section and report section. Thursday, March the 14th, there will be a city council meeting that was normally scheduled, has been canceled. Thursday, March the 28th, the city council meeting will meet at 6:30 here at City Hall Council Chambers. Warrant list number 5 is available for your review. There are no other items on our agenda. Thank you for participating in your city government. We are adjourned.